Being here again, it's easy to remember. It happened some months ago, on one of those hot midsummer afternoons. He and his family had recently moved into the large house on the hill, and separately each had walked this very path. But until that day, they'd never met, probably because she wasn't able to escape the enclosures of her home with his ease and frequency. Often then, she could only sit by that large picture window and watch. And it was undoubtedly from there, in that house above the dunes, that she first saw him. A lone figure, free and unfettered. Although at first she knew no more of him than what might be imagined from such an imposing distance, she kindredly sensed a loneliness about him, and somehow she knew where he lived. And as she would envision him roaming the vastness of his huge and empty estate, this sense of his loneliness grew into a reality, and then an understanding. Their meeting was quite by accident. It was he who made the first move, or so it seemed. She'd been watching the ocean as it barely came forward to meet the beach, and she'd felt something brush her legs and come to rest at her feet. A beach ball. His, apparently. She looked up, and as their eyes met, there seemed to grow an instant bond between them. As though hypnotized, she rose, and without a sound, they began walking in the direction of the old pier, not far from the mouth of the inlet. They walked for what seemed hours, even though the pier was less than half a mile's distance, perhaps 50 feet short of their goal, just where the soft, hot summer sand changed in texture to the feel of moist sponges beneath their bare feet. He stopped and examined a seashell. There was a light breeze, too, and the sun was hot. Their first words were now, and although closer to unintelligible murmurs than anything else, they understood each other. The communication of their needs and wants was instant and complete. And at the side of that old wooden structure, with no hesitation, drawn together there as much as inspired, they suddenly and excitedly found themselves joined in the act of love. It all seemed quite natural. So it began, and so it has blossomed. Down these roads they've traveled inseparably, and through these streets. And with the quick passing of time, through the summer, to the fall, and into an outwardly bleak winter, their relationship has only increased in intensity. From that chance meeting on the beach to their fulfillment by that pier and on. Now they came to his house. Hers was not possible, and here they could be alone. His family was frequently away, and save the discreet and inconspicuous gardener, so were the servants. Here they were free and unencumbered, and here they loved. And with nothing nor no one to inhibit them, their passions were ravenously consummated. On occasion they would pass 2 or 3 days together at a time. What they didn't know of love before, they learned, and when they grew restless with that, they invented more. And although now they kept mostly to the master bedroom, there perhaps wasn't a room, or a sofa, or a rug, or a corner they hadn't shared together. That house had been theirs in its entirety, and by now it knew well the language of their ecstasy. Unbearable, inhuman, euphoric bliss. Theirs was a union to behold.